I spent years watching my wife cling to her long hair, convinced it was her fountain of youth. Never cut it short after 60, she'd insist. Long hair keeps you young. Then, one day, I watched her spend 45 minutes fighting with her blow dryer, round brush, and a fistful of products, only to put on a hat anyway. Here's a truth many stylists won't tell you, ladies. After 60, certain haircuts quietly work against you. They drag down your features, highlight what you'd rather not, and steal precious time from your day. But the right shorter cut? It can lift your face, brighten your features, and have you out the door in minutes, looking better than you did with all that extra hair weighing you down. Today, we're exploring 10 short haircuts that instantly brighten your face and take years off your appearance. No magic potions, just smart styling choices. Drop your city in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and let's start with the hairstyle mistake that fooled an entire generation of women. 1. The long layers trap. Ever caught yourself flipping that same sad section of hair back and forth like you're sending distress signals to passing ships? Don't worry, you're not alone in this particular ocean of hair despair. Those long layers we've clung to since the Clinton administration are playing a dirty trick on us, ladies. They're like that friend who keeps reminding you about the embarrassing thing you did at the company picnic in 1997. Neither helpful nor flattering after a certain point. Here's what happens. After 60, our once luscious locks stage a quiet rebellion. Hair that once bounced like a shampoo commercial now hangs like surrender flags. Those gorgeous layers that created movement in your 40s now create something else entirely. A wispy, see-through effect that looks less windswept goddess and more, I may have accidentally slept with a ceiling fan on high. My wife's hair revelation came during a family wedding photo. "Why?" she asked later, horrified. "Does my hair look like it's trying to escape my head and possibly my responsibilities?" That, my friends, is the long layers trap in action. Think about it this way. Gravity already has opinions about our faces. Do we really need our haircuts joining that particular conversation? Long layers essentially create downward arrows pointing to everything heading south. The solution isn't becoming a military recruit. It's finding cuts with cleaner edges that direct attention up toward your eyes, not down toward areas already applying for retirement benefits. Ready to discover what might work better? Let's talk about a classic that deserves a serious second look. 2. The classic bob redemption. Ah, the bob, that haircut you've been avoiding like an unsolicited political opinion at Thanksgiving dinner. The one you secretly fear screams, "I now exclusively shop from catalogs and know the pharmacy staff by name." I get it. My neighbor Diane referred to it as the white flag of haircuts for years. Then one day, after her 5th consecutive morning of what she called hair hostage negotiations, she surrendered to her stylist's long-time suggestion. The transformation was like switching from dial-up internet to high speed. Suddenly, everything worked better. This wasn't your mother's helmet head bob. This was a chin-length masterpiece with subtle movement that made her cheekbones reappear after what seemed like a decade-long vacation. The magic of a well-cut bob is that it creates a frame where one is increasingly needed. It's like architectural support for features that gravity has started renegotiating with. The clean line draws attention exactly where you want it, to your eyes and smile, not to your gradually southward migrating jawline. And let's talk practicality. Remember styling tools? With a good bob, they become distant acquaintances rather than daily emotional support animals. 5 minutes. That's it. No more relationship counseling with your round brush. For round faces, try it angled. Square faces? Add soft layers around the edges. Heart-shaped? A classic chin length creates balance that Mother Nature is starting to rethink. Diane's verdict after finally embracing the bob. "I thought I was giving up. Instead, I was moving up," which makes me wonder, What other cuts might we be misjudging? Let's consider one of the most misunderstood styles of all. 3. The soft PIXIE revolution. I'd rather iron my entire laundry basket than get a PIXIE cut. That's an actual quote from my sister-in-law, who remained convinced that PIXIEs were exclusively for women built like coat hangers, or those who've simply given up on life. Spoiler alert. She now sports a gorgeous soft PIXIE and hasn't touched an iron, clothes, or hair in months. Let's clear up the biggest PIXIE misconception. We're not talking about the military-adjacent chop that made everyone look like they were auditioning for a 1960s sci-fi film. Today's soft PIXIE keeps length on top with gentle texture that you can actually touch without the whole style collapsing like a failed souffle. My friend Eleanor resisted for years, insisting PIXIEs were for Audrey Hepburn types, while she was more Aunt B from Mayberry. But after a particularly dramatic battle with thinning hair, one that involved 3 products, 2 brushes, and language not suitable for her grandchildren, she took the plunge. The revelation? This cut made her fine hair look intentional, like she chose it, not like it chose abandonment issues. The gentle layers created volume where she needed it most, while longer pieces on top could be swept to one side, creating the facial equivalent of good lighting. Here's the unexpected bonus. Suddenly, her eyes, those gorgeous blue eyes that had started hiding behind drooping layers, became the star of the show. And those statement earrings collecting dust in her jewelry box? They're now her signature accessory again. Still worried about growing it out? Modern soft PIXIEs evolve beautifully. No awkward stages, just gradually shifting shapes that always look deliberate, never desperate. Eleanor's post-PIXIE revelation. I'm not hiding anymore, though I am wondering what else I've been needlessly afraid of all these years. Speaking of fears, let's address the dreaded B word. 4. The side-swept bangs miracle. Remember that time you got bangs in 1985 and they looked less Princess Diana and more bowl placed on head during pandemic home haircut? I think we all have bang trauma lurking in our past. But it's time for some serious bang rehabilitation therapy. Let me introduce you to side-swept bangs. Not the heavy, blunt-cut fringe that requires more maintenance than a vintage sports car, but soft, wispy pieces that gently cascade across your forehead like a silk scarf that actually stays where you put it. My cousin Janet avoided bangs for decades after what she calls the Great Bang Disaster of '72. Bangs make me look like I'm wearing a helmet, she insisted. Then her stylist suggested something revolutionary. Light, feathery strands swept to one side, barely grazing her eyebrows. The effect was like that first sip of coffee in the morning, instantly revitalizing. Those expression lines she'd been considering mortgaging her house to fix softened. The slight asymmetry from sleeping exclusively on her right side disguised. The thinning at her temples gone, like those weird foods at potlucks that nobody admits to bringing. Here's what makes side-swept bangs the Swiss Army knife of hair elements. They're adjustable. Having a good face day? Sweep them more to the side. Morning Zoom call after a night of tossing and turning? Let them fall a bit more forward. They're strategic camouflage you can reposition without a building permit. Janet now calls her bangs her 5-minute facelift. A quick tousle, maybe a touch of texturizing spray, and she's ready. No complex styling negotiations, no 3-step bang maintenance protocols. Still traumatized by bangs past? Consider this. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was them. Today's side-swept options are like those friends who help you move without complaining. Supportive, adaptable, and surprisingly low maintenance. Speaking of unexpected allies, let's talk about a part of your haircut you've probably never even seen. 5. The tapered NAPE secret. We've all had that moment, catching a glimpse of the back of our head in a security mirror or an accidental selfie camera flip and thinking, who is that person carrying my purse and wearing my shoes? The back view, that rarely seen but often photographed angle, might be secretly sabotaging your otherwise stellar style efforts. I discovered this while standing behind my wife in line at the pharmacy, noticing her otherwise chic haircut had morphed into what can only be described as abandoned bird nest from behind. When I gently mentioned it later, she sighed. I've never actually seen the back of my own haircut. It's like voting for a candidate without hearing their platform. Enter the tapered NAPE, the unsung hero of truly flattering haircuts after 60. It's not dramatic or particularly noticeable from the front, but it transforms your entire silhouette like shapewear for your head. A neatly tapered NAPE creates definition, slims the neck, and lifts everything above it. Your jawline, cheekbones, even your posture somehow looks better. The practical benefits deserve their own infomercial. That beautiful blouse that only works when you wear your hair up? It now works anytime. The awkward hair bump when your collar hits wrong? Gone faster than hors d'oeuvres at a wedding? Those hot flashes that make the back of your neck feel like a personal sauna? Less hair means more cooling. My friend Barbara was initially terrified of showing her neck. I've hidden it since the Reagan administration, she admitted. Her stylist suggested starting with a gentle graduation. Now she sports a beautifully sculpted nape that she calls the view I should have discovered decades ago. Ready to discover another hidden secret that might revolutionize your relationship with your increasingly rebellious hair? Let's tackle the ultimate volume illusion. 6. The hidden layer technique. There's a rumor that circulates among women of a certain age. Your hair can still be full. You just need the right layers. I used to roll my eyes harder than a teenager asked to unload the dishwasher. My wife had layers, plenty of them, but they sat lifeless, like they were waiting for a rescue helicopter or possibly the rapture. Then we met Susan, a stylist who looked at my wife's hair, squinted thoughtfully like she was decoding ancient hieroglyphics, and said, "You don't need more layers, you need invisible ones." The hidden layer technique sounds like something from a spy novel, but it's wonderfully simple. Instead of cutting layers that show on the surface, the stylist cuts shorter sections underneath the top layer. From outside, your hair looks smooth and polished, but beneath that sleek exterior lurks a secret support system, like shapewear for your hair. This approach changed everything. Suddenly, my wife's crown had volume that didn't require negotiation or perfect weather conditions. Her hair moved naturally without flying away to join the circus. She stopped spending 15 minutes upside down with a blow dryer, a position that looks dignified on absolutely no one over 25, let alone 65. When discussing this with your stylist, be specific. I'd like internal layers for support, keeping the surface smooth. Be vigilant. Some stylists point cut every end by reflex, which is like adding unnecessary windows to a perfectly good roof. Still fighting with flat, rebellious hair every morning? Maybe the problem isn't your hair, it's the architectural support it's been missing. And speaking of things that fight with your hair, let's talk about those frames perched on your nose. 7. The glasses-friendly cut. Ever notice how some women look perfectly coordinated with their glasses while others appear to be in a perpetual custody battle between their hair and their frames? I've watched my sister perform what can only be described as an interpretive dance. Tucking, untucking, adjusting, removing strands from hinges, all day, every day. "It's either my glasses or my hair," she complained once. "They can't seem to occupy the same zip code without triggering a border dispute." The solution came unexpectedly. After years of shoulder-length styles that constantly photobombed her glasses, she tried an ear-length precision cut. Not quite a PIXIE, Not quite a bob, but a perfectly calibrated style that stopped just at her earlobes with a clean, elegant line. The transformation was like removing pop-up ads from your browsing experience. Suddenly, everything worked without constant interruption. Her glasses no longer competed with her hair. They complemented each other like old friends who finally realized they both loved the same books. No more pushing hair aside to put on glasses. No more smudged lenses from rogue strands. No more weird crimped sections where temple pieces had been creating unintentional crimping irons all day. This cut works with nearly every frame style, but especially well with those larger statement frames many of us choose to brighten our faces. And yes, to see the restaurant menu without performing the "how far can I stretch my arm" test. If you wear your glasses daily, shouldn't your haircut acknowledge they exist rather than acting surprised by their presence every morning? Consider this diplomatic solution to end the territory war happening on your face right now. And while we're waking up your look, let's discuss the cut that makes you look like you actually slept last night. 8. The energy-boosting shag. You know that rare, magical morning when someone says, "You look refreshed," on a day when you've been awake since 3 a.m., cataloging everything you've ever said that might have been misinterpreted? The right haircut can create that illusion consistently, no actual sleep required. Enter the modern shag, not the wild rock star version that looks like you might have backstage passes to a Fleetwood Mac concert, but its sophisticated grown-up cousin who has a 401k and remembers to water the plants. My friend Martha, a vibrant 68-year-old, struggled with increasingly flat, lifeless hair that she described as looking like it had given up on life and was just showing up for the retirement benefits. After a particularly exhausting week wrangling grandchildren, she walked into her salon looking, in her words, like someone had deflated my whole head. Her stylist suggested a subtle shag, light layering through the crown, gentle movement around the face, and enough texture to create the appearance of volume and life. 2 hours later, Martha emerged looking like she'd been on vacation instead of grandparenting boot camp. "3 people asked if I'd been away," she laughed. "All I did was change my hair. I'm still exhausted. I just don't look it anymore." The genius of the modern shag lies in how it manipulates light and shadow like a Renaissance painter. The varied lengths create natural dimension, catching light at different points, rather than letting it land flat and expose all your secrets. Finding your hair looking as tired as you feel most mornings? Maybe it's time for a cut that's willing to lie on your behalf. And for those not quite ready to go short, there's a perfect compromise waiting. 9. The Goldilocks collarbone cut. Some days you want the convenience of short hair. Other days you miss having something to flip, tuck behind your ear, or, let's be honest, hide behind during those "I can't believe I agreed to this social event" moments. It's the eternal hair dilemma, and exactly why the collarbone cut has become a revelation for women navigating the over 60 landscape. Not quite short, not quite long. This cut is the Goldilocks of hairstyles. Just right when you're stuck between wanting change and fearing the "what have I done" moment that comes with dramatic chops. My colleague Judith tried this length after decades of longer hair that she described as increasingly looking like extension cords rather than actual style. She wasn't ready for what she called the full senior special, but needed something more manageable. What started as a compromise became her signature look. The collarbone cut works because it creates a clean line that draws the eye to your jawline and neck without conducting a full investigation of areas that might be changing citizenship to the Republic of Gravity. It's like good lighting in a dressing room. Honest, but kind. Styling options remain plentiful. Wear it straight for days when you're feeling polished, Add loose waves when you want to feel a bit romantic, or pull it back when you're busy building an empire or chasing grandchildren. It's the Swiss Army knife of haircuts. Still hesitating between wanting change and fearing you'll look like you're trying to relive your college years? This might be your sweet spot. And for those ready for the cut, stylists secretly wish more women would try. Read on. 10. The textured crop confidence. Have you ever sat in the stylist's chair, sighed deeply from your soul, and simply said, "Just do what you think would look best"? It's the hair equivalent of letting someone else order your dinner. Terrifying, yet potentially life-changing. My friend Helen did exactly that after months of frustration with hair that was thinning faster than her patience. Her morning routine had become what she called creative architecture with limited materials. Her stylist paused, smiled like someone who'd been waiting years for this precise moment, and said, "I've been waiting for you to say that." What followed was what many stylists quietly consider their secret weapon for clients over 60, the textured crop. Not to be confused with a severe PIXIE or a blunt bob, the textured crop is a masterful middle ground, short but not severe, structured yet soft at the edges. It's like that perfect pair of jeans that somehow makes everything look better without drawing attention to themselves. The technical magic happens through point cutting, creating soft, varied edges rather than blunt lines. This technique allows your natural texture, even if that texture has changed more often than phone plans in recent years, to work with you instead of staging daily rebellions. For silver or white hair, this cut is particularly stunning. The varied lengths catch light differently, highlighting the beautiful dimension in naturally gray hair that one-length cuts often flatten into submission. Helen's verdict 3 months later. People don't compliment my haircut. They compliment me. They say I look refreshed, confident, happier. The haircut just disappears and lets me shine through. We've explored these 10 transformative cuts, from the classic bob that frames your features to the textured crop that lets you shine through. Each offers the same wonderful gift: freedom from fighting with your hair every morning. What these styles share isn't just their ability to lift your features. They all prioritize how you feel, not just how you look. Because real beauty after 60 isn't about chasing trends. It's about finding what works for your life now. Which cut are you curious to try? Share in the comments below. And if you've found a style that makes you feel fantastic, tell us your secret.